The first thing I wanted to ask you is how much of your documentation has the Enye on it? Because you got to South Florida. You remembered that there's an Enye on there. And where in the house will we find the Enye?
Any place I sign my signature. First of all, it's nice to be on, guys. I appreciate you inviting me and looking forward to talking with you guys. But the Enye has always been a part of my name. I've always signed my signature with the tilde over the N. And there was a guy who I think it was a sports writer, who tried to research it to see if I ever used it before I got to Miami. And he got a business card off of the internet, and sure enough, I had signed it and put the Enye on. So it's always been there for me.
Jim, I thought that you whitewashed it when you left South Florida. You left South Florida, and all of a sudden the Enye was gone. You come back to South Florida now. You're saying the entire time you were signing things with the Enye.
Absolutely, 100% of the time. Every time I signed a basketball or a photo of me and they asked for my autograph, there was always an Enye. You can look at it over the N.
Bona fides.
Yes, he is. He's giving me with a tilde over the N and bona fides.
Stay strong, Coach.
It's not just that, though. There's a double R, too, right, Coach? So you have an R in there also. Can you roll your R's?
Yeah, Larrañaga.
There you go.
How good has your Spanish gotten in South Florida?
Yeah, terrible.
Do you agree with the assessment? Because you look like you're on the cusp of winning the ACC. That seems unfathomable, the idea of that. Miami's not supposed to be with the Blue Bloods.
Well, it is funny, Duke and Carolina. Actually, Carolina was preseason #1 in the country, and in the ACC poll, it was Carolina, Duke. And if someone had told me and Jeff Capel that Miami would be playing Pitt on the last day of the season to determine the regular season champion, I think a lot of people would take that bet. But that's sure enough the case. We play Pitt 6 o'clock on Saturday. Whoever wins the regular season title and the #1 seed in the ACC tournament. So I'm real proud of these guys and the job they've done all season long. And it should be a very exciting game this Saturday.
Coach, put us where you were when you learned that John Ruiz tweeted at halftime against FSU. FS who?
Okay, I was here right now. I don't know that.
Oh no!
Oh no!
You're informing me for the first time. I don't really follow social media that much.
I'm sorry.
Someone has to tell me what's going on. So that's what you told me. And here's what I would say. I think the Miami FSU rivalry is a terrific one. I think it started with football, but it's permeated throughout our athletic department. So it was very, very important that we play well and win the game. Unfortunately, I think our guys thought we had won it by halftime because we had played so well in the first half. But Florida State, to their credit, came back, played a very good second half, cut out into our lead and eventually made a game-winning shot. So,
Coach, it wasn't
credit goes to them.
It wasn't just your players. It was one of your very loud, obnoxious boosters, and I'm not talking about John Ruiz. It was Mike Ryan, who left the facility. He left the Bedlam. You're up double digits. Mike Ryan left to go watch a soccer game.
Yeah, I was being a good sports fan, Coach L. And also, because Dan just likes to make this horribly awkward for everybody. By the way, that sports writer that was trying to dig into your past was Dan Le Batard.
That was not me.
It was Dan Le Batard.
It was not me.
I'm a Golden K, and I love the program, Coach. And I like many Miami fans, after that Dayton loss last year, was up in arms, wondering if the program was going in the right direction, wondering if you still had it. And I am taking this opportunity to publicly apologize to you directly to your face, because I've gone from what are we doing here? This is not the right direction, to caping up for you in the Hall of Fame, because I think you're a Hall of Fame coach. And the turnaround last year, and I know everyone, including Jim Boeheim, thinks that this happened overnight, but this was what the program was building towards. And you guys had a setback with the Adidas thing and the loss of scholarships. You're killing it, sir. You're a Hall of Famer.
Well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate those comments, but really what I'm concerned about is getting ready for Saturday. All that other hype and stuff, it's meaningless. Right. Everything is about the players performing well during the game, and the only focus is on the very next game. This happens to be our last regular season game, and it's for all the marbles. So
Yes.
I'm excited about it. Our players are excited.
That's
We
for
got
a
whole
share of the
ball of
marbles.
wax.
A share of the marbles.
It's a share of the
All
marbles.
the
It's
marbles, Coach.
Half the marbles.
Don't listen to him.
Most of the marbles, many of the marbles, not all the marbles.
Yeah, well, sometimes I think I'm losing my marbles.
This guy gets it.
So where are you, Stugotz? Where are you, Coach, on Stugotz's contention? Because he's been following you deeply, profoundly,
year.
emotionally all year, that this is a Final Four Miami team.
Well, I think there are a lot of teams in the ACC and around the country that have the dream of getting to the Final Four. We're certainly one of them. And I think we're capable. But we have to be playing our best basketball, which means our defense has to be consistently good. Our rebounding has to be consistently good. And we've got to force a number of turnovers. At the offensive end, we've been very, very consistent. We're going to have to keep that going through the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament. But we're one of many teams that has that potential.
Jim, what were your thoughts when you read or heard that Jim Boeheim said that Miami had bought a team?
I don't really worry about what other coaches say or do. I just concentrate on doing my job the best I can, working with my players, getting them ready for the next game. I enjoy being around the guys. They keep me youthful. I'm not the youngest coach in the league, but I'm not the oldest either. Boeheim has that distinction.
That a boy.
Bars.
Yes.
He's got bars.
Yes.
So, hey, this is one of those things that the college basketball landscape has changed dramatically. The transfer portal, we had like 17 to 20 transfers in the league that are just absolutely killing it. So you have to be active in the transfer portal. NIL is a major factor. Every family wants to know what your NIL deals are. So those guys, my staff and I are not involved in NIL. We have nothing to do with it. So I just focus on the coaching.
Jim, I do feel like you just age-shamed Jim Boeheim, and you are our youngest guest that we have had in a week around here. And I believe you did get the comments, though. You can laugh it off, and you can say, "Well, I don't need to create the headlines." But the idea that Jim Boeheim would be saying that about your team when you've come down here and built something, I would understand in your most emotional moments, even if you don't want to, put lighter fluid on the flames, I would understand. Come on, Jim, what are you doing? You know how this game has been played for a long time.
Well, here's what I would say. 12 years ago, when I was offered the University of Miami head basketball job, I talked to my sons about, should I take this job or not? And my son, Jay, said to me, he's the assistant with the Los Angeles Clippers right now. And he said to me, Dad, it'd be so much fun to coach at the Dean Dome and to coach at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And I said, Jay, it's only fun if you win. And I took the job, and we've been winning. We're batting like 500 against Carolina and Duke. We've got the best road record, I think, in the ACC. And we've got the best record. I think it's in the last, we're 35-10 in the last 45 games, something like that. And that's the best record in the ACC. So to me, it's all about staying focused, coaching my team, and winning.
Jim, where does the high end for this team rank on the high ends of all the teams you've ever coached?
Well, our 2013 team legitimately had a chance to win the national championship. We won the ACC regular season, the ACC tournament. We were seeded 2 in the NCAAs, and had Shane Larkin not got food poisoning and Reggie Johnson not tore up his knee and Durant Scott not caught an elbow and had to have his jaw wired shut, I think we would have won the national championship in 2013 if we'd stayed healthy. Last year's team had a chance. We're up 6 against Kansas at halftime. Kansas blitzed us in the second half. Had we beaten Kansas, I think we would have had a very good chance to cutting down the nets. This year's team ranks right there with those guys. But the whole thing in the NCAA tournament is matchups. You got to be able to match up well. Last year's team matched up extremely well with our opponents. We were shorter, but faster than the teams we played until we met Kansas.
You guys forced a lot of turnovers in the tournament, and I think one of the things that the naysayers might say about your tournament chances this year is that you guys don't have enough defense. You kind of gave voice to that a little bit earlier in this interview. Can we turn up the defensive intensity, because you're going to need to make a deep run again?
Yeah, there's no question it's our defense that needs to be the catalyst. When we're at our best, we're forcing turnovers, rebounding, and running. We've been outstanding in the open court, and our field goal percentage shows it. You know, we're scoring at a very high rate. The big term right now is points per possession, and we're doing a great job of scoring at a high level in points per possession. But a lot of our offense comes directly off our defense. So the more we defend and force turnovers and rebound, the better our chances are.
Coach, is Nigel Pack going to play on Saturday? A lot of people were surprised that he didn't play against FSU. We could have used him against FSU big time.
Yeah.
Can we see him on Saturday?
There's no question. Nigel Pack's a terrific player, a fantastic shooter. He made the adjustment from being a two guard to being a point guard. He's quarterbacked our team all season long. To lose your point guard in the second to last game of the season at home was really a challenge. But the injury he sustained is a day-to-day one, and he could be feeling better today and practice. If not, we'll rest him until he feels 100%, because we need him on Saturday, and hopefully he will be 100% by Saturday.
Coach, you talked about matchups. What's the ideal matchup for this team is what or who?
Well, it's not a particular team. It's actually a particular style. We match up very well with teams that are just a little slower. Maybe some big guys who don't run the court as well, or a guard who can't get by and penetrate against our defense. You know, there's certain teams that you match up with that you can utilize your speed better than you can against others.
Jim, why did that happen last year where in the second half, or I should say, let me ask the question a different way. What will prevent this year's team from getting the doors blown off it in the second half, because all of a sudden Kansas realizes, oh, wait, we could just leave an open three-point shooter at the top of the key. They're not quite deep enough right now to hang with us in the second half.
Yeah, okay, so in the Kansas game very specifically, we got in foul trouble, which we hadn't done all season long. And we got in foul trouble because David McCormick, their 6'11", 250 or 60-pound center, they went to him constantly in the paint. We were able to keep the ball out of the paint against North Carolina last year. We were able to keep the ball out of the paint against Auburn in the second round and in the round of 32. We just couldn't keep David McCormick out of the paint. Kansas went to him, got in foul trouble, and we just couldn't overcome the foul trouble.
And so why wouldn't that happen this year?
Oh, we have no idea what's going to happen this year. Maybe we don't get in any foul trouble. Maybe we win by 20 points every game. I don't know. Nobody knows what. That's why the games are so exciting. Who the heck knows who's going to make a buzzer beater?
You tell him, Coach.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know, I told you in 2013, Shane Larkin got food poisoning and was sick. Durant Scott got an elbow in the jaw the day before and had to have his jaw wired shut. And Reggie Johnson tore his knee and had to have surgery. That all happened on the same day.
Yeah.
Who can figure that stuff out? I don't have a crystal ball.
You can't.
Dan, do you have a crystal ball?
You're
that
so
you can
right.
look
Yeah,
into
right.
that?
You know what?
Survive in advance,
You're
Coach.
so
I mean, that's
right.
what it's all about.
You're too kind a man to tell me what I deserve there, which is just fuck off, Le Batard. Like, just for real. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I got a good team. And you know sports. You've been covering for a long time. Fuck off. I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't use that kind of language in describing anything, Dan.
You were thinking it, though.
I'll,
I mean.
I'll be very discreet and say, hey, we're going to give it our best shot every game we play. And whatever happens, you know, the truth be told,